What's going on, everybody? I'm Patrick from POWLAX, and this video is an excerpt from the Man Down Defenses video, and in this video we're going to be talking about what you should be doing when you are 2 men down. Before we get started, make sure to check out the brand new POWLAX and POWLAXmastercoach.com, where you can download and print the playbook PDFs that accompany over 50 POWLAX videos by becoming a member and supporting this channel. The new site has been streamlined to make navigating, watching, supporting, and downloading the POWLAX content simple and straightforward. We also broadened our membership categories to allow annual and program-wide memberships. Also, make sure to check out the POWLAX Teespring store, where you can get POWLAX hoodies, t-shirts, tank tops, mugs, even phone cases, and you can customize them to fit your team's colorway. Finally, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow POWLAX on all these social media sites. Now let's get back to the video. So in the event that we're 2 men down, we're going to play with our 4 poles, and we're going to use a box zone strategy that backfills with our 4-man rotation. So we really have to use both, because with 6 offensive players and only 4 defensive players, the offense should force us to rotate. Now, we don't want to rotate without trying to play 2, but the odds of us having to rotate are going to be there. We also don't want to rotate automatically. We want to make sure we're trying to hold our space to play 2, because that's going to allow us to work a little bit less, and it's going to help us out in the long run. So in our example, we're going to have A1 throw up to M1, to M2, to M3, and then back to M2, and then back to M1. Now, as these passes happen, we're going to kind of go over exactly what we want to do. And the first thing we have is, no matter where you are, if you are in a 4-man zone, the backside player has to spider in. So as this begins with A1, he has to spider in to cover the crease, and even 1L should probably actually be in kind of towards the middle playing M2, so that these 4 players are playing these 4 players like not straight up, but they're actually covering the 4 closest players, and as the ball moves to the other side, these 4 will kind of shift over. Now, as the ball moves from A1 to M1, 3L isn't going to go move out to like play him very hard. Like, he wants to kind of sit in space and have the ability to try to play 2. Now, as 1L is kind of looking over here like he's going to rotate up to M2, what we'd like to have him do on this second pass is, when M1 passes to M2, we want him to kind of like show here, and maybe 3L can kind of get back in and play. Now, neither of these players are going to go pinch and really play top center. They're going to kind of sit in space, not let him get closer than 13, 14, 15 yards, and so that if he does step in, they can get a stick to it, but they're not trying to over pursue to the middle, because we just don't have enough players to cover the rest of the guys. Now, as the ball moves again, let's say 1L, who is kind of showing in towards M2, gets back to M3. As he gets back, one of the offensive tactics that every zone offense should know is, if we pull a defensive player to one side of their zone, we want to attack the opposite side of the zone. So when we make that pass to attack the opposite side, if the same player tries to get to the opposite side of their zone, we want to throw the ball right back. So as 1L goes from M2 to M3, M3 is going to pass the ball right back. Now we're probably in a very rotational situation. So 3L is going to have to sink in to play M2. If M2 moves the ball very quickly to M1, now we're probably going to have to rotate up with 6L, and we're just using our usual 4-man rotation rules. So 4L is going to fill for 6L. 1L will drop down to cover the crease and play A2 in the 4L spot, and then 3L, who just was the cause of the rotation, is going to have to get to the 1L spot. And now we've switched our zones, we've rotated, and we're hoping that we can not give up really, really good shots. But I mean, being man down, you're already in a position where you're going to give up good shots. If you're 2 men down, the odds of them getting a really good shot is, especially at the highest levels, it's pretty likely that they're going to get a good shot, and we'll show you a couple of examples of that now. In this clip of Duke being 2 men down against Loyola, Loyola starts in a 2-3-1 and rotates into a 3-3. Duke does a pretty good job here of trying to maintain their zones as the ball's swinging at first, but then the player in the 6L zone thinks the 3L defenseman is going to go up to press Pat Spencer, and he rotates when he probably didn't need to. Then the ball moves once, and then at this point, no one is guarding the backside, so it gets skipped all the way through. They have a step down from about 12 yards, and it's a goal. The key thing to remember for this clip is, if you don't have to rotate, don't rotate. In our second clip, Duke is once again 2 men down, but this time against Towson. Duke rotates in a traditional 4-man style, but then once the motion starts, certain players do pass off in a zone tendency. As Towson moves the ball, Duke has to rotate pretty quickly, and they don't have enough players to cover so much ground, and Towson gets a nice look here, but hits the pipe. Once the ball enters again, Towson runs a simple 4-man top wheel, which puts additional pressure on Duke's 4-man rotation, and Towson scores. The key takeaway here is that a true 4-man rotation versus 6 players is never going to work very well. That and don't be 2 men down. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Definitely let me know what you guys thought down in the comments section. I hope that after watching this, you feel more competent about how you understand man down defense and feel that you can make the best decision for your team. Make sure to check out the brand new POWLAXmastercoach.com, where you can now watch, support, and download all of the POWLAX content. We're kind of getting away from the Patreon third-party stuff. I built an entire website dedicated to all of the POWLAX content that you can now actually support for $5 a month and download all of the content in a much easier to navigate and view way. So definitely check out POWLAXmastercoach.com. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, check out the POWLAX Teespring store, where you can buy a bunch of POWLAX merch and show your support in your local community. Finally, make sure to follow POWLAX on all types of social media. We've got a TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. We like to post at least once a day, maybe twice. Sometimes we kind of miss a day here or there, either way. But so make sure to follow us on all of social media to stay involved. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a good one. I'll see you guys in the next one.